Me and him, we talked off camera for a few minutes, and I asked him. I said, "Say, bro, why? I said, why you stole from Stone?" And the way he responded, that like did it for me. Like I had to really accept that this ain't that gangster no more. You know what I'm saying? He said, the old gangster. When I asked him that, he'd have been like, you know, said some shit like probably, man, that nigga ain't want to look out for nobody, or, you know, some shit like that. Nigga said, and it was his whole demeanor, the way he answered. I said, but why you stole from Stone? He was like, he said, man, I don't know. He put his head down and everything. You know, that wasn't, gangster would have never answered no shit like that way, you know what I'm saying? So if my energy was off, it was me kind of accepting who he is, and you know, and I was really on some shit like, when I went to see him, when he's showing me this, I ain't even want to curse around him. Cause I see he don't curse no more, so I'm like, I'm trying to not call him bitch, and cause you know that's how we talk. Trying to call him bitch and whatever else, you know. So I was trying to respect, you know, this who he is or whatever on some shit.
Okay, so he probably thinking it's another way, but whole time you just kind of a little taken back of his change in a good way. Like, damn, this is really him now. Like,
exactly, that's exactly what it was.
So how you feel about him being like, because I know in our first interview, you said that he was always like a clown, always joking. When you see him on the internet, like joking around, is that like something that you used to as far as like just how he used to be back in the day?
Yeah, that's him. That's who he, and I be telling, like, dudes always inbox me, you know, and ask me about him or whatever, how he was, or how can you hang around that type of dude, and I'd be like, dog, he was like that, but he wasn't, you know, somebody that when you were around, you know, we looked at him one of our peers, and he always did clown like that, you know, and I tell people all the time, they thinking can't just walk around mugging, just killing people or whatever. I'm like, bro, it wasn't like that, but that's who he been.
I mean, that's usually how like the leaders get down. Like they don't walk around mugging, you know what I'm saying? They get happy people, they joke all the time. But let me ask you a question though about Gangsta. Let's say hypothetically he called you when he came, like 2022. Yeah, he called you like 2021, 2020, and he was like, "Skid, I got a way of getting out. You know, They said I can tell on the day they're gonna let me home. They'll let me home. What should I do?" How would you answer that question?
The telling on the dead thing?
Like if you knew beforehand.
Dog, to be honest with you, and I done had conversations with people about this, and everybody be feeling like I'm saying it because it's him. It could be another nigga. If the telling on the dead shit, fuck whatever else, you know, they saying he might have done, because I really don't know nothing about none of that. Man, I told him go with it. And when I see dudes saying that they wouldn't do it or whatever, them niggas lying. Them niggas lying. For one, you ain't put nobody in jail, you ain't get nobody in trouble. And then a lot of them, when you talk, ask them if that was their son, if their son had life, and they was dead. If that was their son way, or somebody had real genuine love for way of getting out, would they be cool with them telling on them about, you know, some old shit? You know what I'm saying? And most of them, they gonna say yeah. They say no, they lying, man.
So you to tell them go ahead, go with the move.
Yeah, I would've. Yeah, I wouldn't have discouraged them, because it's like, and say, bro, you gotta think about it like this too. When you telling dudes like, don't do this and don't do that, like just say you with Gangsta situation. When you telling the nigga don't do some shit like that to get out of jail, you basically telling them keep your reputation as a real nigga and die in jail. Cause that's exactly what you're doing. I could never, you know, some shit like that, man. Get out if you can, man.
Nah, for sure. So you said when you were speaking on Gangsta that, you know, you was expecting him, or you wanted kind of to see him kind of threaten people, turn to the old Gangsta when the internet was bashing them, turn to the old Gangsta, make threats or even make a move. You know, you came home 2012?
2012, yeah.
Has there ever been a time, and you know, you come home on a straight and narrow, you just do your thing, stay out the way. Has there ever been a time, even with this whole internet thing, with New Orleans on fire since Gangsta coming home, that you kind of wanted to get back to the old Skidoo from back in the day, or you just kind of ignore everything?
No, I done been pushed a couple of times since I've been on both levels, like on the hustling level and the other shit or whatever. But I hope this don't come back to haunt me, but I have a big issue with letting shit go. I'm talking about, I've been struggling with that shit since I was young, and then you got to keep in mind, like, the era I was raised, and I said it before, bro, everything was handled with violence, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I had a situation, I ain't gonna say too much on it, but like I was really ready to go there with somebody, bro. But the dude, the nigga, he had put word out like, man, if something happened to me, Skibboo did it, you know, all that old type of shit or whatever. So it was like, that killed it. Like, but I was still thinking that, like, you know, how I could do it or whatever. And look, I was in the gym one day. I'm sitting on the bench waiting on my partners to come in there. And one of the dude named Shadi Feelgood, he a comedian. You probably saw him on Instagram, right here, a comedian. He used to work out with me. He come in the gym, I'm sitting on I must have been zoned out. And he just walked up to me and he said, bitch, what's wrong with you? And I like snapped back to it, you know, but you know, you can't fake energy. My energy was like off, and anybody know me, if you was seeing me that day, you would have knew something was wrong or whatever. So he like, bitch, what's wrong with you? And I said, man, I'm chilling, what's up? That nigga said, he said, nah, he said, bitch, he said, something on your mind. So I sit there and I told him about the situation and shit. And so after we talked about it, that nigga asked me, he said, man, you think it's worth it? And I had really convinced myself, and you gotta say, bro, you gotta really understand me, bro. I, like, when shit be like, I had trouble sleeping, like, cause I felt like I needed to take care of this shit. So he asked me, he said, you think it's worth going to jail? And I'm like, yeah. I said, I'ma beat it. I'm really telling this nigga, I'm like, I'ma beat it, I swear to God, bro. I said, I'ma beat it. That nigga stepped back, he looked at me, and he said, you serious? I'm like, yeah. He said, man, don't let nobody, you been home too long, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dog, I'ma beat it. I'm convincing him. Like, I had to convince myself, like, I'ma beat the shit. That nigga said, well, go your stupid ass to jail then. So when he said that, you know, I just bust out laughing, and it kind of like, I ain't gonna say it snapped me back to reality, but it did make me think for a second. And dog, the next day, anybody I know him, you know, I know they gonna ask him. I text him like the next day or 2 days later. I told him, I said, man, thank you, bro. Cause, you know, and he like, for what? I'm like, you know, the little talk we had or whatever. Cause, you know, say, bro, in situations, not just that, it'd be best to talk to people that don't think the way you think on that level. You know what I'm saying? Cause if I went and told one of my partners, they'd have been like, man, call me if you need me, you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Some shit like that. But, you know, he like kind of got me out of that mind frame just a few seconds of conversation, bro.
So it was something, you know, that sounded like it was recent that almost put you back to that mode.
Yeah.
Damn, it was that deep. I'm not getting the details though, but it was that deep though.
See, bro, it really wasn't, but I ain't used to letting nobody play with me like, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't know, you know how you be thinking, you change till you in a position to see that you could be pushed back to that. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how I was looking at games. So I'm like, they gonna push him back. But it took that situation to make me realize, like nigga not too far removed from that shit. You know what I mean? You be thinking that shit like done, like I ain't got that in me no more or whatever, but it just take the right push to like really bring it out. And say, bro, I promise, if you ask dudes like, say Skip or his brother Cleve, one of them, I guarantee they'll tell you they done been in positions to where they done thought about, you know, going that route or whatever.
For sure, man. I just think it's easier for Gangsta. He out the way, and all his ops is internet ops. You know what I'm saying? Like it just be some internet back and forth. So when you still kind of like, I ain't saying in the field, but when you still out here, I'm pretty sure it can probably entice you to kind of go back to that. Well, how you like squashed it with the dude though?
I ain't supposed to do it. He moved. The dude wound up moving.
Okay, that's
good. The dude wound up moving. But, you know, like I said, bro, it took for that to make me realize, like you can't be pushed back to, you know, thinking like that or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
because you gotta think, like, it couldn't have been worth it. Yeah. You know, you did a lot of, probably half it between that long stretch and the 90s, you know, you was in and out, you did a lot of time in jail, man. So I know you don't want to go back there.
Fuck no.
You know what I'm saying? You can't let nobody push you. And then on top of that, you know, this is your YouTube, so a lot of people might not like you. Some people might just take shots at you on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can't respond. You know what I'm saying?
I'm definitely not getting caught up in that mess shit.
Right. I mean, hopefully the lane that you in, you know, just stay in your own lane and you don't have to deal with it. But if you do, just ignore it pretty much. But so moving on, I ask you a question about Soldier Slim, somebody that you knew, that you ran with. He had that soldier. They call it the soldier sign. What's that? The cross.
Yeah.
Upside down cross, I believe.
Cross, yeah.
Is that something that he started with his label or whatever the case is? Like, is that a sign that he started and everybody kind of?
He nicknamed it that. It came about. I went to jail. I had went to jail for some shit. He thought, and a few people thought I was in jail for some other shit, right?